take around between 18, 19 minutes for this group probably to finish based on their personal best times.
Now, from a mentality standpoint, Coach, what's this like? I mean, this is obviously an event that takes a lot of mental acuity, mental fortitude to be able to do. You're also really, from a track standpoint, getting started today, and then you're out there with all your teammates. So just from a mental standpoint, what's that like for these young ladies being out there in an event that it's tough enough on its own, but getting started and then you see all your same jersey color out there?
Well, that's a huge help if you're running. I mean, the 5K and indoors. I mean, you're going to get into a rhythm. You're going to get into a pace. Whatever the lapse is. I mean, obviously the fact that you're doing 5,000 meters around a 200-meter track can kind of get a little mundane.
Sure.
It takes a lot of focus. You're gonna get out there with this situation. In this particular race, if one person's going to kind of take the lead and others will follow, a lot of times you'll see them in a single file line. Somebody will lead for a little bit. Next person takes over the clock. Give you where they're at each lap pace. Distance running indoors, I mean, you got to think about most all these individuals are coming off of cross-country season, which for a distance runner, you're going out in the woods, you're going out on a trail. There's kind of new and exciting for you to be able to do that. Then you're going to come in right off of that, and you're going to roll into indoors, which is a very set course. Most tracks are 200 meters. Some you have oversized, you have 300 and so forth. But in the state of Virginia, everything is there's Virginia Tech and the facility down in Virginia Beach, all 200-meter ovals. So it's a little bit different, thought process.
So we're underway with our women's 5,000 meters, this first section. We told you we'd have a special guest for you, and we'll go ahead and bring him on now. Head coach of the Wofford Terriers, Johnny Bomar, is going to join us. Brian's going to take that, and we'll continue with our coverage here today.
Is Leah Boyd leading the pack so far? Coach Bomar, welcome to the broadcast. We're just talking about the resurgence or the boost of the women's program at Wofford and how you've done a great job kind of upgrading the program over the last couple of years.
Well, first off, good afternoon, and thanks for having me. I know you can find a lot better people to talk to than me, but the women's team has really developed well over the last couple of years. A couple of really good recruiting classes. We actually just put the first young lady in the Hall of Fame for Wofford out of my tenure at Wofford a couple weeks ago.
I mean, you've been there since 2011. And what have you seen the difference in the conference from the time when you first got there till now as an overall of the conference?
The conference has changed a lot. I guess we added a school or two. VMI came back to the conference. We lost College of Charleston and App State. And it's just been just a crazy shift now with big-time football. With a couple of schools we lost for football. Georgia Southern used to have a very dominant women's program.
Yep.
And App State was very good. So it's been a little bit of a shift, but we've stabilized the last couple of years, and this is the core nucleus of the conference.
What what do you see the difference between this is one of the mainstays of a facility for indoors for the conference. What's it like being able to go back year after year to the same place for a championship as a coach?
We love this facility. I think it's one of the best facilities on the East Coast, and our kids know what to expect when they come here. So they're comfortable. Our hotels are always the same. We know what we're going to eat. We have great caterers, and just the facility is well kept, and it's top-notch, first-class facility.
I mean, getting the opportunity to have the meet broadcast on TV now, has that helped? Has it helped recruiting a little bit?
I think so. I mean, yes, any publicity is going to be good, and just it gives these kids the opportunity to showcase their talent. They're out here being seen, and they like that, and the parents like that, because SoCon is all spread out. It's giving parents the opportunity to see their children also that are maybe out of our usual market. So I just think it's a great thing to be televised and just get these kids in the spotlight a little bit more.
Absolutely. When you talk about track and field overall, the evolution of the sport has, times and distances have gotten incredibly, what was great marks a couple years ago is average now. Why do you think that's happened?
I just think it just goes down to the high school level. A lot of kids are training more. Nutrition is more important to these student athletes, and just things are just developing and growing over the course of time, and it's so difficult. I know we had a really good 400-meter runner last year, Jasmine Jefferson, and she ran 52. Yeah, she ran 52.7 in the 4 and got 17th at regional. She didn't even make it to nationals. It's 52.7.
I remember when if I had a kid go under 53 seconds, I was like, man, this kid's going to nationals. This gonna be on the stage in the world level, maybe at the junior level. But man, now it's, they're a dime a dozen.
Yeah, and COVID has hurt or helped the sport also. We have older seniors every year just with COVID. So these student athletes get a year or two more to mature in a structured program with weights and practice, and they're hitting their prime later. So some of the kids or student athletes that wouldn't have been running are still running and developing.
So let me ask you this: getting back to the conferences itself. If I'm gonna give you a sales pitch for a recruit, why would I want to be in the Southern Conference?
Why do you want to be in the Southern Conference? Because you can come in day one and shine. You're going to come in, all these coaches are going to give you top-tier coaching. You're going to get hands-on, and you're not going to be fighting to get a T-shirt or to get a spot in the locker room. You're going to get the opportunity to develop and compete. And a lot of these people go at the high level. We go to high-level competitions. So just because you're not at that school with the big name on the shirt, you're going to be in the heat with them. You're going to be on the runway with them. And what a better place to showcase what you can do, and maybe you got overlooked by one of these bigger schools.
I like that. I like that, Coach. Appreciate coming up and spending time. I know being a coach, a little bit busy, especially day two, and you've got a bunch of events coming up. But Coach Bomar, thank you so much for jumping on the broadcast with us during the 5K.
No problem. Thanks for having me, and always go Terriers.
Thank you. Coach Johnny Bomar, who is the head coach at Wofford, getting a chance to share a little bit about the conference and kind of his perspective. They've done a great job, at the conference level for the last couple of years. He obviously got there in 2011. And just kind of get to share it. I think one of the last things he said, Phil, about being in the Southern Conference, having an opportunity to compete and shine and getting a chance to develop, which I think is a huge portion that a lot of individuals, they kind of take that for granted. There's development. Somebody comes in as a high schooler, as a freshman, there's a big difference between somebody that's in their fourth year of college in this sport, really for any sport, though.
Right. Yeah, and we were talking to him before we went on the air, and any good coach in any sport continues that relationship with their student athlete even after they're done with school. When Coach Omar, a prime example of that, checking in on his student athletes and what they're doing after they run. And obviously that relationship changes a little bit because they're not asking the same things of them necessarily. But it's special. Glad we got Coach Bomar to join us here on the air. We'll step aside about halfway home of this first section of the Women's 5,000. Full day on your way. 2025 Southern Conference Championships live from Lexington, Virginia. On post here in Lexington, Virginia. As the Women's 5,000 continues, some awards being handed out. Commissioner Michael Cross at the podium, handing out medals in recognition of what these student athletes have done to this point. Often running on day two. Alongside Brian Fetzer, I'm Phil Cox. Full day of action as Leah Boyd continues to set the pace.
She's been setting it from the start. She's locking off about 45 seconds for each 200 meters in the race so far. And she's been leading from the start. Comes from a running family. Brother also runs cross country at Chattanooga.
It'll be 5 to go for her next time by.
The 3,000 meter mark, she was 13:53.07. Had a lot of events, a lot of the field events finishing up from today, a lot of them yesterday. We're gonna have an opportunity to see some of the men's triple jump, the women's pole vault a little bit later on today. Break into that coverage.
Yeah, triple jump, weight throw, high jump, pole vault, all on tap as the field events will wrap up a little after lunchtime here in Lexington. We're taking you all to the mid-afternoon, culminate with those exciting 4x400 relays. Always such an exciting way to finish the weekend here.
We're going to have a little bit later in the broadcast. Mr. Cross, Commissioner of the Southern Conference, is going to join us to talk a little bit about the state of college athletics and the Southern Conference, which, Phil, has been such a topic across the board with the ever-changing landscape of the NCAA, of how has it affected the cross-country runners? How does it affect the track athletes and the basketball players and so forth? So I'm excited to sit back and listen a little bit on that, just to hear what he has to say. It was great talking with him yesterday. A lot of excitement. Obviously, the Southern Conference, as we've mentioned, has been kind of the cradle of schools over the years. There's been some great ones that have made their way through, and there's been some that have been here from the onset. Indeed.
Even in this event that goes back 90 years, who's who of schools have had their time and taking home a track and field title. But it's a very busy time of year. Of course, basketball going on, spring sports are underway, with softball, baseball, lacrosse all getting going. And it is a constantly changing landscape across college athletics. But it is, I will say this, partner, it is still encouraging to see in 2025 at a mid-major level that this event is still covered and there's interest, as
Absolutely.
So much attention is put elsewhere, even at a mid-major level. Maybe a sport like this may get left behind, but still plenty of interest and plenty of coverage. And at the end of the day, it's impressive what these young men and women have done and are doing.
Yeah, and the thing about it, too, is, you had mentioned this time of year is the most hectic in college sports, because you have the indoor, the winter sports are finishing up with their championships. Swimming and diving was, last week, and track and fields this week, and you have NCAAs coming up. But shoot, lacrosse has started, softball started, baseball started. So that it's that time of year where there's so much overlap between the sports at all schools that it really spreads administrations thin and individuals that work competitions. So, I always have to say, a shout out to all the officials and all the individuals from BMI that are here supporting and working the meet, because track and field, Phil, it's like nothing else. The amount of individuals that it takes to run a competition is dramatically more than other types of events.
Sure.
So, and some of these officials that, fortunately in the state of Virginia, VMI has some of the best officials there are. I say that with kind of a little bit.
A little bit of a check.
Because, hey, a lot of them were officials for me when I was at the University of Virginia. And they do such a great job. But I don't think officials in track and field ever get as much recognition as they should. And if you look at them, you notice, there's not a whole lot of 20-year-olds out there being officials.
Right.
They're a little bit older and a little wiser.
Leah Boyd coming around as she wraps up her circuits around.
So what will happen is the results from this first 5K will be combined with the second section of the 5K to come up with the overall champion and overall winner. Right now, Leah Boyd sits on the pinnacle. She sits at first place, but everybody in that next section will be coming after her to surpass her in her time. They'll go strictly on time.
18:21.44 her posted time.
Since it's there's a lot of bodies on the track, the front runners, you're going to see packs develop pretty quick. There's going to be a group that's going to go out and kind of push the pace, kind of get themselves out from from amongst everybody.
So underway in the women's 5,000. And we are going to let Mr. Walton come on and join us. And new VMI AD here in Lexington. And get his thoughts on hosting this 2025 event as we're leading up, getting ready to wrap up here on day 2. We're still the men's 5,000 and the 4x400 relays. And Mr. Walton, thank you for joining us here today.
Glad to be here.
I know this is exciting for you, but a lot going on post. We'll make sure I get that. It's not campus, it's post here in Lexington. And you knew what it was like as a cadet and being here, and now you're here as the athletic director. What's it been like being back here in Lexington and being in this role?
It's been fantastic. You know, like you mentioned, we got baseball going on, we got basketball going on, but this is just awesome to host, you know, the Southern Conference Indoor Track and Field Championships. And, you know, graduating in 2007, I've seen a lot of change, you know, so it's just really cool to see the level of where we're going from a facility to host this type of event. I kind of pinch myself every once in a while. You know, we used to compete. I was a football player, but track athletes used to compete in the pit. You know, it was an older facility, but having this facility and being able to host the Southern Conference Championships, and also the community gets involved, you know, different institutions. I've been able to mingle with people from Sanford, mingle with people from Furman. So it's just a really cool community here.
Coming back here and taking this role, what has kind of been your mandate? What some of your goals in getting acclimated to being here at VMI?
Yeah, you know, VMI is a special place, but it always falls to making sure the cadet athletes have the best experience. So I'm just coming in trying to provide that with great coaches, great facilities, and just really doing whatever we can to get a little bit better each and every year. I'm about 8 months in, so I'm learning a lot. But I think what I'm just trying to do is be a really good listener to our cadet athletes and find out, what do you really want? What are some things that are really important to you? And let's go out and get them. We have some fantastic alumni and donors who really, really just dig in, wanting the best for VMI.
Women's 5,000, closing in on 3 minutes in. What's it like? You were a cadet athlete here playing football. What's it like coming back and seeing these athletes compete, whether it's track and field or baseball or some other sport? And, you know, obviously it's different now that you have left and come back.
Yeah. Honestly, the schedule, man, the time demand it takes to be a student athlete. I know we're talking about cadet athletes, but all of these student athletes, the time demand, waking up, going to class, you know, practicing your craft athletically. And obviously we even have some cadet athletes that's going to be going out Monday, Tuesday to read to kids. So the community service efforts that we're trying to do, it's amazing. You know, I'm watching these young ladies doing this 5,000 meter, and I'd be done right now. You know, I was
probably be on the ground.
I ran track in high school, but I was a 200, 100 guy. I'd be dead right now trying to hang with these young ladies. They're just phenomenal athletes. My kids and I, we were here earlier watching pole vaulting and watching high jump, triple jump. I mean, just the athleticism you see. It's really cool to just sit and watch as a fan.
You talk about what it takes to be a cadet athlete here at VMI. What about the coaches? What do you hope that your coaches bring every day, whether that be in practice, you're on the road, helping them with their academics? It obviously takes a special young man or woman to come apply and be here, but it takes a special kind of coach, too.
Yeah. I have these non-negotiables I mentioned to my head coaches. You know, 1 is we want to be compliant. You know, 2, we want to represent VMI well. 3, we want to lead a first-class program, and we want to compete to win with a championship mindset. And last but not least, we want to graduate great men and women.
Right.
You know, within that, we want to have coaches that really want to come here and want to take on the challenge at VMI. You know, it's a unique experience. The 3-legged stool, we talk about the academics, the athletics, and the leadership piece. So coaches that buy into that and lean into the VMI experience, they have success. And obviously Zach, being an alum, I know he's been the coach of the year before. I mean, he gets it, and I just want to continue to find ways to help him and the rest of our coaches out.
Southern Conference is unique in the sense that it has two military institutions, with the Citadel also in the league, and a lot of history in this conference. VMI, of course, was in the Southern Conference for a while, left and came back. Taking your view just from a conference standpoint, kind of how do you see the league from your spot as the VMI AD?
You know, Commissioner Cross, I mean, this guy's everywhere. I mean, he was here for basketball. Now he's here. It starts with leadership, and you know, I really think the conference has done an exceptional job. This being my first year as an AD, I'm involved in the meetings. I'm seeing all the behind-the-scenes work, how early this team gets here to provide a really, really good experience. But we're happy here, and we're just excited to make this the best experience possible. But we just love working with you guys. I mean, you guys are first class, and you can tell the athletes when you walk around, there's things you can buy, apparel. So as it says, it's all here. It's all here, baby.
Jamal Walton visiting with us, new VMI athletic director, as the women's 5,000 meters continues. What do you enjoy as a fan? I mean, obviously the hats that you wear are many: dad, athletic director, representative in the Lexington community, but still nice to come out and just enjoy watching sports.
Yeah. You know, what I really enjoy, obviously, is the cadet athletes, but I just love competition. You know, in my job, I just went to a basketball game, and it's halftime, and I walked over here, and we have a indoor track and field championships with the Southern Conference, and then later today I'm going to go over and watch baseball, and I'll probably see someone on the way that plays women's soccer or someone that is on our rifle team. So I just pinch myself like, as an AD, man, I get to wake up every day and enjoy sports and try to help people do great things. And these 18 to 22-year-olds, I think the good Lord put me here to just help find ways to serve them. So I'm just, you know, a joy to, you know, it's a joy to be here. And one of the cool things about being an athletic director, I stay on post. So I live on post, which is great. And I can easily get back to my house in about 5 minutes. So to be able to do this, I can involve my kids and my family. I mean, it's a special place. But, you know, I pinch myself sometimes because in 2003 to 2007, I was in that barracks, you know. But the cool thing about VMI is the connection, the shared experiences that you have at a place like this. That's what really makes this place so great. And those that are a part of VMI or went to VMI, they understand it. But at the end of the day, it's about helping people, and a lot of people help me. So that's one of the reasons I wanted to come back here to help the greater good of VMI, and I'm just blessed to do it.
Well, I can certainly sense the tremendous amount of pride that you have in being here and experiencing this and then coming back. Thank you for spending some time with us.
I want to show you. I know the fans can't see this, but when you were talking about wearing big hats, you probably saw it on, I think, the Southern Conference. I got a Noggin Boss hat representing VMI. So when you were talking about wearing big hats.
Yeah, you literally do.
Here's what I'll do. I'm going to go put that on later and come back here. I know people can't see it, but, you know, I'm all about having some fun.
I love it. I love it. Jamal Walton, new VMI athletic director, joining us. Sir, thank you again for spending some time with us.
All right, thanks.
Women's 5,000 continuing. It'll be 11 to go next time by for Carly Wilkes as she has the point. Furman, not surprisingly, leading things. Top four, all Furman at the top. Really appreciate Jamal Walton joining us here on the air. What a joy to talk to, and a guy that partner went to VMI, a VMI guy through and through.
Absolutely.
And boy, just his energy and the amount of pride that he has for the experience that he has as a cadet. Really appreciate him joining us here on the air.
Absolutely. This race has really kind of gone chalk.
For sure.
Since we're getting close to March Madness, a term that's used a lot. You know, Furman, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, and really have been kind of in commanding, you know, fashion, kind of really running the race that they, you know, they're setting out to run. Nice effort. I mean, Carly Wilkes, you know, wrapping off, you know, 39s we talked about pace in a 5K. A lot of times that, you're going to get in your rhythm, you're going to get in your pace, you're going to go, and you have 3 other teammates that are kind of really right behind her. I mean, that's a huge amount of points. You swing, you go 1, 2, 3, 4. That's pretty substantial bid. Parker from Sanford in 5th place, but you can see it's really hard, to watch the entire race, especially when you're on a 200-meter track in a 5K, because things spread out so much.
Right.
So it's kind of hard to kind of figure out, like, who's in first, who's in second, where are we at, from that standpoint. You see Wilkes, she has the hip on that's number 19. You can see her there. Ahern, she's got hip number 7.
How cool is this for Carly Wilkes, the junior from Salem, Virginia, which is just not too far away from Lexington, getting to do it not in her true stomping grounds, but somewhat close to her hometown of Salem.
I'm pretty certain she has a lot of friends and family that are around around the place.
Paladins continue to set the pace, as we have documented. You look throughout the years, an event like this is Furman's, what they hang their hat on, their true bread and butter. Record, if you're wondering, not surprising, set by Savannah Carnahan of Furman, 16:22.61 in the 2019 meet.
So Savannah, an incredible runner during her time at Furman. Got about 1,400 meters or so left.
6 to go next time by for Wilkes.
Wilkes, definitely picking up the pace. The current NCAA lead, Doris Lamanga from Alabama, 14:52.57. This is another event that, time-wise, man, continues to get better and better and better every year. In the college ranks, I mean, you get to see, collegians making the Olympics in the 5K. Varney from Florida, last year. It's an event that continues to evolve and continues to get better. And what Robert and Rita Gary have done at Furman, making and establishing Furman as a national distance power, not just a Southern Conference distance power, but a national power. I mean, they're on the scene year after year. They came down from Ohio State, and Furman made a commitment to being good in distance, to being good in cross country, and they've really, they've taken that and run, and I mean, we recruited against them a ton when I was at Virginia. I mean, they're going out and going after the best young ladies, young men in the country, and then developing them from that standpoint, which is very impressive.
Carly Wilkes, as we said, all Furman at the top. Wilkes, Mulhern, Cadeau, and Jones.
And really spreading it out. You can see Wilkes really coming through. 13:50.
Wilkes 3 to go next time by as we start to come down to the wire.
And Wilkes is really picking up 37.5 over the last 200. I mean, she's been averaging right around 39 seconds per 200 meters throughout the entire race, and is really starting to pick up that pace now. You can see with her arm carry, I mean, she's getting after it. Wants to, as you said, hey, make a statement for a kind of a local crowd. That's where she's from.
Salem, Virginia, where she calls home.
(14:28.14) through 4,400 meters. 600 meters to go in the race. And Furman right now is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the board. They've been busy.
As we said, this will really help Furman from a point standpoint in these distance events. They really will make up some ground.
And you're talking about almost 35 points as potential on this. I mean, that's a big point swing.
Men's 5,000 upcoming. Furman will have a chance to make up some hay there.
Wilkes again, 37 again on this lap. You see her going down. She's really using the individuals that are farther back in the race as kind of a gauge point to kind of like, hey, I'm going to pick this person off. Because when you don't have somebody that you're necessarily running with, per se, you've got to figure out other ways. So you're kind of looking ahead. I mean, she knows what rhythm and what pace she's going to be running. And you can see Rita Gary kind of barking out the marks to her.
Bell,
looks good. Bell lap.
Yep. Bell rings for Carly Wilkes. Meet record 16:22.61.
Boy, she's going to be close to that record.
Savannah Carnahan in 2019 of Furman could be in jeopardy.
I mean, hey, I'm going to say she's going to give it a shot here. She only has about, she's going to get this. 16:22. She's at 13:14. 16:17, new conference record, new meet record. Great run.
Does the Paladin Diamond at the
That's,
end?
I like